Some of the most rewarded behavior in self improvement culture are actually just signs that you don't feel safe enough being yourself. So, for today's episode, I'm going to be telling you about 3 ways you might accidentally be losing your self worth in your day to day life that are completely normalized in self improvement. There is a lot of disguising going on in modern self improvement culture. They disguise self abandonment as growth and discipline and ambition and productivity and healing. And the scariest part is, while we can absolutely lose our self worth in one catastrophic moment, and it happens, and that's really the worst when that happens. The scarier part is how subtle it can happen, how in your tiny everyday moments, you could be doing things subconsciously that you're not even fully aware that you're doing that are chipping away at the way you feel about yourself. You are teaching yourself through repetition that who you are now is not enough. And what's really fucking sad about it is a lot of the time we're doing that in an effort to be better. We turn to self improvement advice to try to get us out of a rut, to try to become the person that we know in our hearts that we can be. And so we pack in all of this information and all of this learning and try to take it into our lives and apply it. And we somehow end up hating ourselves more. So I want to take away the pressure to do these things and then you'll become X. And instead, I want to give you some things to stop doing. Okay. I want to take some shit off of your plate so that you can start to enjoy your life and feel good about who you are right now in a way that you genuinely can believe. If anything in today's episode resonates with you, please make sure to rate and review the show. It really does help get episodes out to more like minded individuals like you and I who need to live a little bit more wellishly. And if you haven't already, you're going to want to subscribe if you are the type of person that loves self improvement, but just can no longer stand the pressure of perfection that so much of it makes you feel. You are treating every flaw you have like a problem to solve. The self improvement world teaches us to constantly be auditing ourselves, that we should be looking at every thought, every behavior, every trigger, every big emotion that we have, every insecurity we have, every habit, and it just causes us to live in this constant state of self criticism. And living in the constant state of self criticism causes us to never experience peace. We can never truly, genuinely relax inside of who we are today when we're constantly trying to hyper analyze everything about ourselves. Because then the next thought after that is what we can do to fix it, which just keeps us in this vicious cycle of analyzing everything that's wrong with us. And newsflash, you will come up with something every single day. Like, there is never going to be a day that you cross a threshold and suddenly you get everything perfect and get everything right and you don't find one motherfucking flaw within yourself. Like, there will always be something that you could pick apart. And so you will spend your energy picking that thing apart and then making meaning of it or problem solving it or trying to take action in an effort to make it better. And if you took all of that energy and just spent it on experiencing your life and having compassion for yourself, it just opens up a whole nother life for you. It's actually possible you might not even have low self worth. You just haven't left yourself the fuck alone in years. You have this obsession with thinking about yourself. And that is truly what it is, that you have obsessive thoughts about everything about you, how you move, how you think, how you feel, how you behave, how people perceive you, how you show up in the world, and that your brain is just playing that for you on repeat. We just become obsessed with optimizing ourselves because self improvement culture leads us to believe that there is a solution for every problem we come up with. And it's messed up because there is small truth in that. There obviously is always room for growth and learning and development and healing, and that will make our lives better. I have a better life experience if we do those things. But there is a normal level to do that at, a kind, compassionate, neutral level, curious level to do that at, and there is an obsessive, over fixating level to do that at. That fixing yourself then becomes who you are. Self improvement becomes your identity. That you cannot just live your life and experience your life and be okay with you being imperfect. You have to constantly be on the mend and constantly monitoring everything you do. Because it feels like if you stop that self monitoring, then something could go awry. You could lose control. You could behave in a way that will make you feel bad. You could become a person that you're afraid of becoming. Someone could perceive you in a way that you don't want them to. Someone could misunderstand you and then perceive you in a way that you don't want them to. People could not like you. You could hurt somebody unintentionally. You could hurt yourself unintentionally. So, if you are hyperfixated on monitoring everything about you, it makes you feel like nothing bad will happen. But if you haven't noticed, bad things still happen. And all you're doing is viewing normal human traits as evidence that you need to fix yourself. But by doing that, you're causing this emotional exhaustion that you inevitably will feel living in this state of always needing to fix it and always needing to find the thing to fix. And that's what makes healing get to this toxic level that you are trying to do the healthy thing, but you actually are causing more of an issue for yourself by always needing to improve. Because what's happening is you are creating justification for yourself for never accepting who you are. It's just another form of you being hard on yourself. So instead of you having the behavior that you don't like and being guilty and shameful of it, which I'd be willing to bet you still are when those things inevitably do come up, now when you're trying to fix yourself, you're packing more things on for you to be guilty and shameful of, and another way for you to not accept who you are. You're just shifting the perception, looking at it from a different angle and not ever actually healing the root of the reason why you don't think that you are good enough now exactly as you are. This really weird thing happens too when you start consuming too much growth content and self-improvement content is you feel like you can't trust your own instincts anymore. Like because there's always a better way to do it, a good way to do it, and you are never going to do something exactly how someone else does it, that you automatically think your way is wrong. And the self improvement guru or the influencer online or the author that you just listened to, their way would obviously be right and your way would obviously be wrong because you don't have any self trust and you don't like yourself enough. And that's why you're turning to self improvement to try to fix you. And instead of using the self improvement to increase your self trust, it's actually slowly destroying it by mistake. And I think this happens because we go into the self improvement with the idea that we are going to replace our life, replace ourselves, replace our current behavior and thoughts with the better way to go about it that we're being taught instead of allowing it to support who we are now, using those tools and molding them into what would work best for ourselves in our own lives. Let me give you an example. If you are somebody that feels self conscious every time they go out in public, you feel like you're socially awkward and you never say the right thing, and you just don't have the confidence in the room of people that you really wish you had. So you turn to self improvement to try to learn all of the habits and tips and tricks to be the confident person. You go to the event and you have it in your head. You've got your pocket full of self improvement tips that you're just ready to throw at everybody, okay? And because you intellectually understand at this point what it takes to be a confident person, you put that expectation on yourself that you should show up in the room and know exactly how to behave, and that you won't be that old weirdo version of you anymore, but instead you'll be that perfect dream version that you are picturing inside of your head because you understand how to do that now. You know what that looks like, and you know what behaviors to engage in order to be that person. And then you know what I'm going to say. You go to the event and you still show up as the socially awkward person, and you go home and you beat yourself up for not doing what you said you were going to do, and you don't understand why. You are trying to throw away who you are now and become somebody new, and that will not work. You are this person, and there is nothing wrong with this person. This person just needs to make some adjustments in order to start incorporating confidence in a way that works for them. So, this person's confidence is not going to look like someone else's. It's not going to look like some aesthetic image you see online. It's not going to look like Miranda Priestley. It's not going to look like Bella Hadid. It's going to look like you. And maybe the confidence is actually you saying that weirdo thing and not giving a fuck that you say that weirdo thing, because that is you. Just because this cool person wouldn't say something like that doesn't mean that you shouldn't be confident in saying it. If you think it's funny, if you like that about yourself, say it, own it, stand in it, and not shit on yourself for doing that. Or if you do feel bad about saying a certain thing, just saying, ugh, I'll do better next time. I didn't mean to do that. Confidence is being able to still support and be there and know yourself and understand yourself and be kind to yourself, even when you don't feel good, even when you get something wrong. Because learning confidence, or insert anything that it is you want to improve upon, is a tool to support who you are today, not replace who you are. The second thing you're doing to accidentally annihilate your self-worth is you are using discipline to earn the right to like yourself. A lot of discipline in self-improvement is actually just conditional self-worth. People think that if you are more productive, that you're going to be more confident because you're doing the things in order to become the person that you want to be. And that if you're more consistent, you'll be more deserving of living that life or becoming that person or having that thing. And that if you do all of the right things and you do it in this beautiful wrapped in a bow routine, that you have this like social superiority over the people that are just lazy pieces of shit that don't do this. And once again, it's another small truth that gets manipulated against us. People are allowed to engage in whatever behavior they want to engage in and experience their life however they want to experience it. And if you are a person that wants to do all of the things and that will make you feel good about your life experience, then all power to you. You're welcome to do that. But if people don't want to do that, they don't have to be productive in order to have worth. Nobody has to do anything in order to have worth. Your worth is inherent. There are things that would improve your self-esteem, but that is not the same as self-worth. Your self-esteem is subjective. It can fluctuate dependent on your moods, what's happening around you, if you do things that make you feel good, and if you do things that don't. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. But all of that is about your self-esteem. That is not your worth. But somehow we twist it into who we are and what we deserve and if we are good enough, dependent on what we do and how we show up in the world. And when we live like that, that's how we end up getting that catastrophe feeling of like we are never going to amount to anything if we have a bad day or a bad week or a bad month, or we just cannot figure out the direction that we want to go in life, or things just keep not working out for us. And so we feel like we're doing something wrong and like there's something wrong with us. We feel that if we do these routines and we get everything right and we do the things exactly the same way every single day until the day that we die, that then we'll be disciplined enough to earn the right to the life that we want to have. And when we inevitably cannot keep up with doing the same exact thing every single day until the day we die, we end up spiraling about it. And in an effort to prevent the spiral, we never take a break. We always are living in this state of feeling like we need to work hard because that's what's shoved down our throat is this hustle culture. And that if we are disciplined and we work hard, that we'll be successful and we'll get to live the dream life that we want to live. And if we don't do that, then we're lazy and undeserving. And so we get this message pounded into our head that rest needs to be earned, but it does not. That is not true. Rest should actually be scheduled into your life because that is the recipe for burnout is forcing yourself to do the same exact thing every single day until the day that you die and never taking a break from it and never feeling like you can't do it every day. But self-improvement culture makes us feel like if we don't do that, that there's something wrong with us because only the elite are who are able to have that happen, are able to keep consistent with that and have the discipline for that. And so if you can't do that, then you must not be the elite and you aren't worthy of the life that you want to have and you're just going to be a loser forever. This mentality does this messed up thing that it makes you feel like unless you behave a certain way, you aren't going to be lovable or respectable. That you need to be happy all of the time and fun all of the time and chill all of the time and never have an emotional outburst and never have any unhealed pieces of you because that's what's going to make you likable and lovable by other people in your life. And that it's going to make you respectable if you are a person that's 100% healed and has it all together. And that people will respect you when you do all of the things to create this impressive life for yourself. Like if you can perfect all of these things and be disciplined enough to make all of these areas of your life look good, that you'll finally be able to consider yourself good. But how about respect for yourself? Because if your self respect disappears the second that you screw up, everything that you were doing is performance. It's all just for what it looks like compared to how it actually makes you feel. Being hyper about making sure that you are disciplined enough just creates anxiety. It's these ruminating thoughts that I gotta get all of these things done and check things off of this list, and then I'll be able to consider myself good. That's not a way to live. You shouldn't lose your self compassion every time something goes wrong. You should actually be able to be compassionate when things go wrong. That's when you need it the most. Like if screwing up what you wanted to do, what you wanted to be disciplined about, is what ruins your self image, whatever it is that you are trying to accomplish is not the issue. You're focusing on the externals and you need to look inward. Why is it that you feel you need to be so disciplined in order to be good enough? Why can't you consider yourself good enough right now, exactly as you are, without needing anything else on the outside to prove it? Understand the root of that so you can start healing that and you won't need the externals in order to feel good. You'll be able to just do what you want to do externally and feel good about yourself regardless of what you do. Something that really helped me with this was asking myself who I was defining myself as on the days that I wasn't getting everything right. Because I often would even say the words to myself, like that I was lazy or that I was never going to amount to anything or that I was embarrassing or an idiot and a failure. Like I was so mean to myself. It was horrible the way that I would talk to myself. And I mean, definitely still catch myself doing sometimes, but asking myself, like, who am I defining myself as when I don't get it right? Like, why is it so night and day? Why is it that it's only when I get everything right that I can consider myself good? And as soon as I screw up, as soon as something's imperfect, all of that goes out the window. When instead, again, kind of with the first point, is that the discipline is something that should support you. You are this whole person. You are both versions of you. You are the version of you that doesn't follow through all of the time consistently 100%, and you are the person that works their ass off to try to. Those are both you. Let those two versions of you merge together and use discipline in order to support them become the person that they want to be. And you do that by asking yourself what works for both of them, having a plan for the version of you that just doesn't frickin' feel like it, and having the best version of you idea in your head so you know the things that are important to you and you want to do. The third and last way that you are accidentally destroying your self worth on a day to day basis is something that lives very near and dear to my heart. And that is that you are mistaking hyper independence for confidence. Self improvement culture glorifies needing no one. Not needing validation or reassurance, not needing a man and being able to do everything on your own, solo dates, that it's better to be alone than to have shit friends. And let's be honest, all of those things are so motherfucking true. And so much of that is like to my core who I am. And so it's really hard for me to stop white knuckling those concepts because I love those things about myself. And if you relate to this, I'm sure you do too. And there's nothing wrong with them. And there's absolutely so much power in independence. But the issue is not being aware of some of the underlying wounds that could be taking place that are causing you to destroy your self worth because of your hyper independence. Because a lot of hyper independence is rooted in fear of rejection, fear of perception, that it's easier to be by yourself because you know and understand yourself. And when you're exposed to other people could perceive you and judge you and misunderstand you. And so it's so much easier to be alone. If you are a person who has spent so much time self abandoning, when you are alone, there is no chance for self abandonment. So it feels good to be by yourself and genuinely choose what you want to do in the life you want to live because you're not worried about other people's opinions. You're not worried about doing what's best for them and sacrificing what's best for you. And so we end up feeling empowered by what's truly a form of self protection. I have seen so many things in self improvement about emotional detachment. And as a person that has lived their life as insanely empathetic and always considered too sensitive, I just completely romanticized the shit out of that. It sounds glorious to be emotionally detached and to not have to need other people to behave in a certain way in order for me to feel good about myself. Because something that I so easily do, this is something I got from a speech that Kristen Bell had given. She said, I have a hard time telling the difference between my feelings and your feelings. And I fully resonated with that because it just made me feel like if the other person is upset, it makes me feel upset. If the other person is angry, I get angry. If the other people are happy, then I can feel good and I can feel at peace. But the same is true in the opposite way. If something makes me feel icky and I think that something is a red flag about me and something's bad about me, I automatically assume that other people think that too. I automatically take my thoughts and my fears and project them onto other people. And when you're an empathetic person, it is so easy to confuse your feelings with other people's feelings. And so we just romanticize this idea of emotional detachment and hyper independence because if we're independent, we feel empowered by that and society glorifies it. And because we've spent so much time sucked into the emotions of other people and feeling that our mood is dependent on other people's behavior, that we see neediness as a weakness. We see it as something to avoid at all costs. A way that this shows up so often is over identifying as low maintenance and confusing that with having actually low standards. That if we are low maintenance and chill and we don't burden anybody and we don't get in anybody's way, that we'll be more likable and lovable. Because if we actually don't self abandon and we actually say what we think and we say what we feel and we say what we need and we say what we want, that not everybody's going to like that. And that is a fact. So we will lose people. But the only people you're going to lose are the people that are not in alignment with you. Another way this shows up is never asking for help and support. Like there is just some ego driven thrill that comes from being able to accomplish everything yourself. If you can get it all done and you are the one that can take full credit for it and know that you did it without needing anybody else to do it, that it makes you powerful and it makes you strong. And it is the only way that you'll actually be able to feel proud of yourself for doing it. But self worth isn't proven by how little you need. Like those things have nothing to do with one another. And when we say that out loud, it sounds so obvious, but they're so intertwined inside of our head. We're calling it independence, but it's actually just fear of people, fear of perception, fear of judgment, fear of not being enough. It's like all of our wounds are bubbling to the surface and manifesting in a way that's glorified within our society. But making it harder for you to get hurt by fending off every opportunity that could cause you discomfort is not the same thing as being healed. Being healed is being able to get hurt and know how to emotionally regulate and know how to handle it and trusting yourself to get through the thing that hurts. People with healthy self worth allow themselves to be loved. They allow themselves to show up in the world. They allow people to see them and to experience them because they know their worth and it doesn't shake dependent on externals. True confidence is allowing yourself to be seen without minimizing your humanity and your mistakes and who you truly are, because all of those things are a compilation of the person that is you. And you, right now, exactly as you are totally fine, dude. You're totally fine. Sure, you can learn and grow and be better. There's always room for that. Always room for that. And the most emotionally intelligent people don't just pretend to have it all together. Emotionally intelligent people know that there will always be room for growth and improvement, but you don't have to be hyper fixated on making sure it happens now and proving that you're the person that you want to be now to the outside world. That you know that there's always going to be room for learning and growth, and that you are always on that path to learn and grow, but that there is so much self acceptance and self compassion that you are okay with the person that you are right now, today, and you trust yourself enough to become the person that you want to be tomorrow. I genuinely feel that the biggest shift in my self worth came when I stopped asking myself, what can I do to be worthy? What things can I pack in? What behaviors can I have? How can I regulate my thoughts so that I can actually feel like a person that's good and is the person that I want to be? And instead, said to myself, what can I stop doing? What can I stop doing that is destroying my self worth? Because you don't lose your worth by constantly trying to prove yourself. So many people are trying so hard to prove their worthiness on a day to day basis. But the genuine way that you build up your worth is by no longer abandoning yourself, even when you screw up, even when you don't show up exactly in the way that you are picturing inside of your head. That's it for today's episode. Thank you so much for being here. You're going to want to tune in on Wednesday to hear my conversation with trauma-informed coach and intuitive healer Tori Janae. We're talking all about how chasing enoughness can be another form of self-rejection. So it's a conversation that you're not going to want to miss. If anything in this episode resonated with you, and it seems like it did because you stayed up until this point, make sure to send it to a friend to tell them that you love them and that they are okay right now exactly as they are. And if you're exhausted from turning your entire life into a self-improvement project, make sure to subscribe to the show. I love you so much, and I am so grateful for your friendship. I'll talk to you very soon. Bye.